Hello, my name is Shagun Jhaver, and today I'm presenting our research on deplatforming on Twitter. This research was done in collaboration with my wonderful co-authors, Boylston, Diyi, and Amy Bruckman. Now, here is the agenda for this talk. I will begin with offering a brief background on deplatforming and list our research questions. Next, I will describe the methods we used to answer our research questions. Next, I will summarize some of our main findings. And I will conclude with detailing some of the design and policy implications of this research. So let's begin. Deplatforming refers to the permanent ban of controversial public figures with large followings on social media sites. Over the past 5 years, many controversial influencers with thousands of followers on mainstream social media sites like Facebook, Twitter, and YouTube have been banned. The most popular instance of such bans occurred when social media sites deplatformed the former President Donald Trump earlier this year. That incident triggered a host of important conversations about delimiting the regulation power of platforms and navigating tensions between libertarian tendencies and authoritarian practices in platform governance. In this paper, we sidestep this ethical debate and instead focus on the long-term consequences of deplatforming as a moderation intervention. We examined case studies of 3 far-right extremist influencers, Alex Jones, Milo Yiannopoulos, and Evan Benjamin. All of these influencers got banned on Twitter because they conducted harassment or engaged in spreading hate speech. Using these 3 case studies, we asked the following research questions. First, how does deplatforming affect the number of conversations about banned influencers? Second, how does deplatforming affect the spread of offensive ideas held by banned influencers? And third, how does deplatforming affect the activity and toxicity levels of supporters of these banned influencers? By answering these questions, we provide empirical insights in a computational framework that, when combined with the ethical theories that are currently being developed, can help community managers make more informed decisions about whether and when to issue deplatforming. To answer our research questions, we examined observational data from Twitter through a temporal analysis of tweets directly referencing deplatformed influencers, tweets referencing their offensive ideas, and all tweets posted by their supporters. For each influencer, we limited our data collection and analysis to the tweets posted in the period 6 months before and after their deplatforming. As this data summary of our paper shows, the 3 influencers we studied were deplatformed at different times. In total, we collected more than 49 million tweets to conduct our analysis. This is the summary of the methodological framework we used in our study. We first collected all tweets referencing influencers to answer our first research question. Next, to answer our second research question, we identified antisocial ideas associated with each influencer and collected tweets containing those ideas. Finally, to answer our third research question, we identified the hundreds of supporters of each influencer and collected their tweets. For each of these data sets, we split the data around the deplatforming date and then ran iterative time series regression analysis and other statistical tests. Let's see what we found. First, we determined that deplatforming disrupted discussions about influencers. Posts referencing each influencer declined significantly. Additionally, the number of unique users and new users tweeting about each influencer also diminished significantly. Before this work, it was not clear whether deplatforming would affect the levels of posting activity about influencers. Certainly, these influencers continued to actively promote their views elsewhere. In fact, the deplatforming on Twitter was widely covered by multiple news outlets and provided them greater visibility. which could lead to a Streisand effect of drawing more attention to censored individuals. However, our results about reduction in activity level around them suggest that deplatforming helped reduce the overall impact of these influences on the platform. We also analyzed the spread of many offensive ideas popularized by deplatformed influencers. Our interactive time series analysis show that even after controlling for temporal trends, deplatforming helped reduce the spread of many of these antisocial ideas and conspiracy theories. This suggests that deplatforming diminishes not just the influence of bad individuals, but also of their ideas. Our data also show that the deplatforming action significantly reduced the overall posting activity and toxicity levels of supporters for each influencer. Since the influencers we studied were deplatformed at different times, it is unlikely that the changes we observed are reflective of isolated Twitter-wide trends. Next, let me discuss some of the main implications of this research. First, our findings clearly show that deplatforming can be an important tool in the toolkit of moderation interventions, and judicially using this strategy may allow platforms to address the problem of online radicalization. Next, we found that platforms must defend against second-order harms of deplatforming. Our findings show that deplatforming increased the prevalence of some offensive ideas we tested in this study. Additionally, although deplatforming helped reduce the overall activity and toxicity levels of supporters, a small group of supporters significantly increased both their activity and toxicity levels. Therefore, platforms should attend to how deplatforming may impact the activities of other users associated with the banned accounts and regulate their activities when it is necessary. Our data collection and methodological approach may prove helpful in finding relevant keywords to track, as well as in identifying supporters and analyzing their change in behaviors. We also claim that platforms must deplatform influencers who promote offensive speech, even at the cost of lost advertising dollars. As our findings show, deplatforming influencers reduce the posting activity levels of hundreds of their supporters. Therefore, it might not be in the financial interest of platforms to conduct deplatforming. Many critics have raised concerns about the financial benefits from advertising dollars that are potentially tied to allowing toxic content to remain on these platforms. However, platforms must recognize that when they allow people who promote toxic speech to spread their views in the name of free speech, they are degrading minorities and other vulnerable groups and minimizing their dignity. Before I end, I would like to thank our colleagues and anonymous reviewers who provided feedback that helped shape this research. I would also like to acknowledge Facebook for offering us a research award that helped fund this research. That is all. Here's a summary slide of this paper. If you have any questions or comments, please reach out to me on my email listed on the bottom right. Thank you.